Alright guys, just wanted to do a multi-day NASDAQ breakout setup. It's very similar to the OTC breakout setup, but I think it's a little bit tougher to trade. You'll find that you may take a loss and then it resets back up in a couple of days and you attack it then and you'll win, and your win will be 4 or 5 times bigger than your loss, and sometimes you just win the first time. um, a lot of it has to do with news catalysts, whereas like OTC, I don't really care for news. It's just straight technicals. But in the NASDAQ world, you kind of need a catalyst, or you need extreme high volume. And the longer the breakout sets up, the better, of course. Um, there's two ways to approach it. There's the high volatility intraday tighter stop way to approach it, and then there's the wider risk swing style setup. And both of them, like I said, work better with news. I pretty much now only trade the NASDAQs if they have news, or if they're in a volatile sector. They don't necessarily have to have news if they're in a hot sector, but if they PR news about a hot sector, then I'm willing to go bigger on it, of course. So that's kind of like uh, the package, I guess you could say, for the NASDAQ multi-day breakout. And I just kind of wanted to show you a quick thought process here about that, just to kind of explain how you may take a loss on one and then get a win on another. So if you look at VSGM here, zoom in for you, we've got multi-day breakouts that lead into multi-week and month, year setup kind of going here. So the high of this candle is 552, and I bought it on that day, actually, 552, and I was treating it as a volatile intraday setup. I thought it would just immediately get up to here on this day, and I was dead wrong. The volume wasn't there, as you can see. Volume here compared to this day and this day just wasn't there. It was a COVID-19 related play. They PR'd about something, I forget what it was, but it was related to the whole situation, and ended up stopping me out because like I said, I had the intraday type, not the swing mindset on this play, and stopped out, and it came back, held, and obviously you can see it grinded over highs as a swing style setup. And the swing, this is for me at least, so if the breakout here 552, my stop's going to be the previous day's low of day, so it would have been 475. So 475 to 552. That's a pretty wide risk, and as you can see, look, all of the low of days held. 805 is the low, 714, 6.2, 602, 562. So technically, if you just bought the dips on each day, risking the previous day's low, you would have made out like a champ. Maybe that's something I'll do in the future, but this is kind of like decking in the fact that, as you can see, it's kind of backside, although it hasn't had a breakout yet. But this 562 or 52 breakout can lead to the 575 breakout, which could lead to the 622 breakout. If you're down here, you could add on this breakout and then add on this breakout in the profit zone already. But like I said, I stopped out and I didn't get back in for this breakout or this breakout. I just was annoyed with the stock, but I knew on Capper I wanted to take that same approach. And let me show you just the daily chart here. Same exact deal here. So we got these highs of 185, 185, 182, So I didn't buy the 182 breakout thinking it would get over 185. I just didn't do it, but it worked perfectly. This day it closed at 185. As you can see, 185 is becoming a perfect top there. This day opens at 185, dips to 184, and I buy it on the break of 185. Now my stop is 171, and it would have stopped me out had I played it like a regular intraday stock, but since I played it based off of this previous close low, held perfectly. Got the gap up and rip where I actually added over this high and worked well. And this is also a COVID-19 related stock. Who knows if they're telling the truth? They just PR'd about it. And again, you can see high volume, pretty much low volume, and this is picking up. But if it continues to do exactly like BSGM, I may look to buy these dips every single day up until, I don't know, 350. We'll see. But anyways, let's get into some of the other charts here, just on my entries and exits. Got them saved. And this is going to be MRNA. This one was huge. Nice account grower here. We have the main breakout at 36. And this will show you how I kind of like to anticipate these stocks. And this is also a COVID-19 related play. So if the breakout is at 36, you see it's way up here, right? This stock is very volatile. I mean, look at this day. It went from 20 to like 27. So, I mean, if you caught that dip around like 21, sold it at like 27, I mean, props to you. But I need to wait for something like this setup. I mean, it's beautiful. This high right here is going to be 35.60. And as you see, it doesn't always work. So you get this high here, which is 34.90. And if you bought on this day, you would have lost. Okay. I didn't see it that day, luckily, because I would have bought it and I would have lost. And I still would have bought here just like I did. But back to the point, we've got the big breakout at 36, the smaller breakout that could spring it over 36 at 35.60, and it opens up at like 34. So technically, you could have gotten a over 35 or 34.50, just depending on how it sets up. So let's take a look. So we get the open here at like around, like I said, 34.50 or so. The high of day would have been nice. Look at this. Now you see risk reward setups like this all the time, but the difference is this is coupled with the big breakout picture just above. So you could see something like this and it just go up right here over high of day and stuff down because there's no reason for it to continue. Smart buyers are getting in here, and then people like me that have been in for a while are seeing it. I mean, these are the master buyers right here. And people like me that have been in for a couple years are buying up here. Chasers are buying way up here. And extreme chasers are buying, even higher than 36. So, yeah, we got the entry. I saw the high of day. I was watching it, and I decided not to go for it. But I thought if it could get over 35, it would spring it over the 35.60, which would spring it over the 36, as I talked about right here. So 35 could get it over 35.60. 35.60 could get it over 36. And it immediately runs over the 35.50, and then that springs it over the 36. And as you can see, there's no other good levels for it over it, 36, so it stuffs, and it's going to need to set up. Does VWAP have to save it, or can it hold on its own? We'll see. It tries to pull back to VWAP here, but there were so many buyers that VWAP wasn't needed. That's usually a good time to buy higher just for a scalp. And as you can see, you get a nice little rip, and then we get that VWAP pull. So it does need VWAP here. But I think it's just midday, so there's some shorts trying to attack it in the zombie hour, and grinds back on them, traps some shorts, and they're trapped into the close pretty much. Maybe some lucky ones got out here, but we've closed above 36 the breakout. The next morning, we get a gap up and a pull down, and people were asking me, well, why didn't you sell in here if you were long at 35? Why weren't you selling on this huge dip from 38 to 36.50? I was only up $1.50 at that point when I was just up almost $3.50. Well, let me show you. This is how I find my targets, and it's pretty much the same on OTCs. This is the first breakout right here, and I missed this. I believe one of the guys in chat got it on like the Steady Trade podcast, one of those guys, and I believe he sold it right here, and a piece here, maybe even a piece here. I'm not sure, but if you see the breakouts right here, we have a mediocre close, whatever, huge gap up, and as it closes, it's closing green, but it's not that great. Still huge gap up the next day. So we get a 3-day run after the breakout, all gap ups. Basically $10 a share. So that was what I was thinking. A 3-day run with all day gap ups. And look, I buy on this day, day 1, gap up, day 2. So why am I selling on day 2? I'm not. I'm waiting for day 3. Day 3 comes. Bang, that's what I'm selling. So entry 35, expecting it to get over 35.50, which gets it over 36, and that happens. The gap up, rip, maybe in the future, day 2, if I'm expecting it to run on day 3, I get the dip on day 2 because it works within the scheme of the big picture. We get the huge run to 40, still no sell because I'm waiting for that $10 a share. And I get a little nervous here, but I know they try to play games, and then we get this news that comes out right here, and bang, all the way to 50. That's where I sell most of my shares. I got a little stingy, didn't sell all of it there, waited for the open. Luckily, it didn't drop too far before the open. But anyways, that's kind of what it looks like. Buy, sells over a 3-day period. Even went to 56 without me, so I left like $7 or $8 a share on the table. Here's NVAX, the same kind of setup here where it's a coronavirus multi-day breakout. I actually bought on this day, lost because that's breaking this day. So I waited for it to reset up over this high. What happened? Breaks, works, okay? As you say, unlike MRNA, NVAX here failed first try, major breakout was at 18, lost on it. So this time I wanted it to hold over breakout. Then I'd attack next high day. Both were vaccine potential candidates. So we get the 1825 as the breakout. That's where this line is. You see it kind of breaks it here at the open, no buy. Still no buy, no buy. We see it hold over hive day, which is the breakout, and I buy right over that, 1850. So I'm 25 cents over the breakout, big deal. This is what it looks like live. I don't know where it's going to go from here. And all the way up. I sell a piece there, because this is a little bit over $1 per share gain, just to lock some gains in. It's a tricky stop. This is the next day. We get a gap up and a straight up run. So I sell some here at like, remember I'm long from 1850. This is like 21.50. And we're looking good, but I'm not all out here because I want 3-day run, just like MRNA. It showed on the past it could run 3 days. So that's what I'm looking for. But since I lost on it the first time, I'm not going to take all my shares for 3 days, and clearly MRNA was the real winner. So anyways, this is day 3. Missed some shares there from 1850 to 26 there, and cut at like 23.75, and as you can see, it continued down. This is my 3 days of entries and sells. And anyways, yeah. So hope you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you see a breakout like this, attack it. Know your risk. Is it intraday or is it a swing style setup? All right, guys. Stay safe. Bye.